Hi Pisces, welcome to Yellow Cardinal Tarot with me. My name is Carol. Pisces, this is a general reading for August of 2024. And before I begin my reading, I just want to say to you that a video for my personal readings, an offer for personal readings, because some of you have been asking me, will be coming out soon-ish. I don't want to make any promises because I do and then it doesn't happen. So stay tuned for those. Now, today what we're going to be doing is I have a really good reading for you. It's the first time I've done it. It's called Mirror Work. So what is mirror work? Well, let me just tell you that mirror work is probably one of the best things that you can use to start to heal yourself, to start to find out what is coming up from your shadow to heal. And if you're new to shadow work, I'm going to leave a video for you. I'm going to link it right at the end of this video. And it's a video that I've done for my other channel called Carol Cares. And it's a video on shadow work. And it's also linked in the description box as well. So, yeah, it's going to tell you all about how to do shadow work. And shadow work is just basically healing what's coming up from your unconscious. So mirror work is about the whole concept about the universe is trying to reflect something to you that is connected to your inner world, to the unconscious. Now, I know that's a bit heavy, but I want you to understand it as when we start watching our outer world, like people that are in our life, like what's happening in our world to us, or even what's happening in the world itself, what's going on with our pets, what's going on in our own systems, health-wise maybe, or children. Children have an incredible way of triggering us. They always will be a mirror for us that are reflecting something back to us that we need to see, especially when, we sit here and go, they're driving me crazy, they're pissing me off, they're making me angry. That is mirror work. That is what the universe is reflecting back to you. That's related to a pattern or a belief system or a struggle or whatever it is that needs to heal. Now, let me give you an example. I am a retired teacher, and so I think it's really important to give you an example, a concrete example of mirror work. So I saw mirror work yesterday in action, and to me, I said to myself, I was trying to figure out why this was happening to me, because that's what mirror work is. And I knew it was because it was the story that I needed to tell you, the example. So yesterday I brought my car in for the umpteenth time to get fixed, and I now know that it's time to get rid of my car, by the way. It's just given me a lot of clues and things, memories that I'm done with part of this in my life, so it's time to get rid of this car. I know. But I was in the garage yesterday waiting in the waiting room with this woman, and there were just the two of us, and she had just finished talking to the technician. And you could tell that she was very much someone that was full of fear, full of anxiety, just the way she was walking around and talking about how she needed a cigarette. And I could just feel her anxious energy. And she started to talk to me, and she told me about her car and what it was doing. And her car, when it came to slow down and came to a stop or a light, she said she could see the whole dashboard, lights start to dimmer, and there was shaking going on, and her car would stall at the stop sign or at the lights. And this was happening all the way to her drive to bringing her car in, and it was happening all the time. And she told me there was even one incident last week where she had a police officer stop her because she was stalled in the middle of traffic, and he followed her where she was going. He followed her home. Now, this isn't, the woman's probably close to my age. I don't know. I have a hard time with the age. But she told me she was living with her parents. And I'm thinking in my head, like, why would you drive this vehicle knowing that It's going to stall all the way here. And the fear and the anxiety in her system over this car doing this to her was incredible. Now, she could have called, had a tow truck bring it in. She could have asked people she was living with to, give her a ride. But here's the thing about what's going on in this woman's outer world that she didn't realize that I knew it was going on because I've lived what she's going through. She's living a flashback, and the panic in her system. So she still thinks she's back in this flashback, and she doesn't realize that she can get out of this as an adult, but she still thinks she's back where she was a child and something was happening to her over and over and over again that was bringing up all this fear and all this anxiety, and she couldn't get out of it as a child, but she can as an adult. And so even just having that police officer saving her, and to me it just sounded like this was something from her childhood that was coming up for her to heal. And if you don't think that your car can be a mirror for you, oh my God. My car has been an incredible mirror for me to, bring back a lot of my own flashbacks of when I was trapped as a child and I couldn't get out of my situation. And so this is what, it's very critical on this journey to start to become aware of what's going on in your outer world, your conscious world, and use it as a mirror to reflect what's happening or coming up for healing in your inner world from your unconscious. It's a fascinating concept that the universe has for us. It's beautiful. But this is the way we can start using our triggers, these people around us, our relationships, what situation you're sitting in with your own relationship. How is this a flashback? How is this bringing up patterns from your childhood? And so we're going to start right now and get into this reading because I could chat forever about mirror work. It's fascinating. So let's get started with your reading today. I'm going to be using 3 decks for your mirror reading. And the first deck I'm going to use is the Rider-Waite deck, and I'm going to pick 8 cards from that. And then for your outer world on your right, I believe, I'm going to use the Tarot Grand Luxe, and I'm going to use that for your message from the universe as well. And then I'm going to use the Tarot of the Abyss for clarifiers for your inner world, and also how you can begin to heal this. So I'm going to put you on speed shuffling for just a few minutes while I get this all shuffled out for you. Pisces, let's get started on your reading here. Now I don't look at these cards beforehand. I just deal them out and then read them. So we're going to start off with the overriding energy for your reading, and it's the Two of Swords, and this is the card that came from your yearly reading that I did for you in January. So this is August's card, and the Two of Swords. So it talks about a decision. It talks about a decision that needs to be made, that you're sitting with, and maybe you're really up in your head with it, not really sure what to do. So we'll see how that kind of plays out in this reading for this month. So we're going to start off with your outer world, what you're conscious of. It's what's going on with your life right now. And and then we'll look at that and how it's a mirror for your inner world. So let's start off with the Ace of Swords here. Ace of Swords talks about an offer from the universe. It's a gift from the universe. Usually if it's a gift, you take it from the universe, right? And what is the sword? Well, the sword is your truth. It's your authenticity. It's getting back to who you are, finding out who the real you is. Because we tend to have the real person, the real us, buried beneath all this trauma and this healing that has to get done here. And so there's a resistance here because it's in reverse. So I'm wondering if you know, maybe there's a fear sometimes of finding out who we really are, because there's some work to do to get to that person, and some resistance here. And behind it I have the 10 of coins, which is the 10 of pentacles. Now I will say that I know this card, oh yes, it's coming out here again. So it's coming out in your, the 10 of pentacles is coming out in your inner world as well. I know I spotted it here, but I didn't spot it here. So what is the 10 of coins in my reading? Because it's coming up twice here. And so it's the 10 of pentacles. And, you know, I look at this individual right here. This is how they've portrayed it on this particular card. And this individual looks like he's collecting coins. And a lot of times, you know, if you're a coin collector, I was a stamp collector growing up. It's kind of like these things that you get given to you as you grow up, right? And like I have a bunch of coins hanging around that people gave me, and I'm trying to get rid of them because I don't want them, but some people collect coins. But it's like those things that you give to the next generation, right? So the 10 of coins is really a generational card, and it's coming up for you twice here. So I'm seeing here that sometimes because of generational trauma, because of, you know, things like shame that was handed down to us, and whatever was handed down to us from our caretakers, and then they got it from their caretakers, it tends to like go down the line of lineage. And then this is what this is coming out as. So, you know, I'm just keeping this in mind as we're going through this, behind this Ace of Swords here. And the Page of Cups. Oh, did I see them twice? I think I did. Yes. Wait, was it here? Or was it just... I think as I was shuffling, it came out. 10 of Cups. Here it is, right here. Okay, so interestingly, these readings have been fascinating because I find that there's cards that are coming out here and they're showing up in the inner world. So here's your Page of Cups, your first Page of Cups. So I'm going to say that pages in my deck are our inner children. So there are 4 pages in the deck, 4 inner children. We can have more than one inner child. I know mainstream psychology likes to say we have one inner child, but coming from someone that has complex trauma and has been on this intensive healing journey for the last 7.5 years, I have discovered that I have more than one inner child. So your Page of Cups is probably, out of all the pages, out of all your inner children, it is the one page, the one inner child that is probably going to cause the most chaos in your life, because this is the little love seeker. This is the inner child that will continue to repeat childhood patterns because they didn't get the love that they needed in childhood. And we know how strong the power of love is, and that's how strong it is in your system. So it'll continue to repeat patterns in your life and wreak havoc in your life because they're searching for that one person that is going to save them, that's going to give them that love. And the other thing about the love seeker, our little inner child here, that we need to understand, because it's sitting beside the Ace of Authenticity, is that the love seeker believes that the only way to truly get that love that they need and they want is to consistently change who they are. So if you think of like a people pleaser, how they're forever changing, and they're forever, I will be like this with you, I will do this for you, I will change this way for you. And so when we get into relationships as adults, this can really wreak havoc in our relationships because we lose ourselves. And we change, we turn into that person that we think that this person that's with us wants or needs, so that they'll love us. And that is the plight of the love seeker that we all have. We all have this part. We're all seeking love. And some of us have stronger ones than others. And so right away in your top row, you have an inner child, your most powerful inner child that needs healing. And so I don't know what kind of havoc this is, wreaking in your life right now, but there is definitely love seeker energy here where you are losing your authenticity, I think, here. And it's something related to your lineage where there's been probably some trauma that's been handed down to you, and it's coming out in your first row. So a powerful first row for you, and this is what you're dealing with. This is what's going on in your life right now. So if you're involved in toxic relationships, if you're involved with these patterns of things that people that keep showing up in your life over and over again, if you're in a relationship and you can't get out of it and you want to, this is what your love seeker is all about here. And so there are some things that are hidden here because the moon card's coming up, and there are things that are hidden from you, and there are things that are buried. There are things that you don't realize that are hidden in your inner world here. And they're hidden from you in your conscious outer world. And the Hierophant card comes here, and the Hierophant speaks of very much a card of obedience, doing what we're told, right? So this card speaks about how we are wired. How were you wired as a child to fall into place, to do what you were told, and you're continuing to do what you're told. And, it could be something to do with if you're following a certain religion where it says, no, this is what the religion says. I can't do this. I'm not allowed to do this, or, something like that. It could be that. It just could be, this is what your caretaker said was right or wrong, and that's what you continue to believe, live by. High Priestess comes out next, and the High Priestess is the second card in the Major Arcana, and she is the first half of the feminine energy in the Major Arcana. Now, the Major Arcana is these big forces that come into our life that we really don't have any power over it, really. They just come into our life, and we're supposed to deal with it, right? They're not our daily activities, but she is the wisdom. She is the intuition. She is our inner guidance here. And so I'm seeing here, she's in reverse. So that means you are not using your intuition for whatever it is. We did say you had a decision to make, so I'm not sure if that's related to it, but this is really a fascinating reading. I don't know where it's going, but it just sounds fascinating already. I'm still trying to piece it together here. So because you're wired to follow certain set of rules of the way you're supposed to behave, you're not following your own intuition. And sometimes these readings will bring that out where it starts to say, well, maybe it's time. Maybe it's time to start questioning what you believe. What you believe because of what someone else has told you that's the way you're supposed to believe, and what you really, really, truly believe, right? Because we're starting out with the authenticity of who you are and things getting handed down, the lineage. So I feel like it's coming into play here where it's talking about a set of rules that have always been in your family, maybe family generations, and you have had those. You've kind of adopted them. They're what you're living by. And this reading is kind of saying, okay, that's the way you're wired, but you have this other way, your other internal guidance, which is your High Priestess, which is your intuition. Everybody has it, but she's blocked right now, and you're certainly not in touch with it. You're still following this lineage, this track that you've been, this wiring that you've had, probably since, you were a young child. And the Two of Cups comes up next and in reverse. So the Two of Cups speaks of this exchange of the cup of love, the cup of emotions, very intimate. But it's number 2 is the beginning. It's the beginning of not with someone else, but it's the beginning relationship of connecting those, of joining that feminine side of you, which we all have, and that masculine side of you, which we all have. It has nothing to do with gender. It's that getting to know those two sides of you, the true you, all of you. And this is just the beginning of the relationship here. But there's a resistance to it, because it's in reverse here. And that could be because of the wiring of your, the way that you were raised, where, maybe this intuition stuff is just not, I don't know. We'll see. The Two of Coins is next, and the Two of Coins is the Two of Pentacles. And the Two of Pentacles is our juggler card. Here he is right here. He's not, he's trying to balance on this high wire here, at the same time do something else, right? So he's very much like multitasking, very much unbalanced, ungrounded. So I'm seeing here that this is where you are, where you're very much ungrounded, but don't realize how much you don't have your feet planted on the ground, how much you don't live in your body, right? And that would be like the feminine aspect to ourselves, where we have our intuition, where we have our inner guidance. But to find out who you really are, you can stay up in your head and believe sort of what this Hierophant has told you all your life. But then, it sounds like there's kind of a pull here on your part. I can feel it here from the universe kind of saying, it's time for you to start to maybe get in touch with this feminine side of you. To explore it. Maybe there's a pull here to go inwards. Because, the next card that you get, it's very interesting. You get a Queen and then you get a King. We're not going to ignore either one of these, but you do have the feminine and the masculine card at the end of this. And I didn't know they were there. And here they are. They're right at the end here. And they're both in an upright position. So the Queen here is the feminine side of us, and the King is the masculine. This is our ego self, and he's the last one here. So I'm going to say that you are definitely, I'm going to go back to what I just said, and I said it before they came, but you are definitely being pulled by the universe right now to explore that feminine side of yourself, which is, and it doesn't matter what gender you are, which is that side that has intuition, another way, because we're talking about a decision here, I'm thinking, which is another way to find out who you are and what you want, right? It's because I think that who you are and what you want has been dictated by you, handed down through your lineage. Powerful, but that's what I'm reading here. So let's look at this inner world here and see, this is what's going on in your outer world. So this is a mirror of what's going on in your inner world. So I want to look at this. I want to look at this now and see, what's going on. All right. So your inner world, Pisces, is probably just as fascinating as what's going on here. Your Five of Wands comes up first in your inner world. So this is when, you were a child, an adolescent. This is where you learned about things. This is your wiring. So the first card is the Five of Wands, which is a battle of the ego, and it's in reverse here. So it is a card where you start to compare yourself to other people, where you start to realize that anyone who starts to compare themselves to anyone else on social media is really entering into a battle of the egos here, where you can really start to get depressed and start to feel like you're less than, that you just don't measure up, right? You're not pretty enough, you're not smart enough, you're not whatever it is. And so I feel like, and this is really a self-worth card. It's a self-worth card, and it's in reverse here. And so because this is in your inner world here when you were younger, well, this, here's your self-worth turned upside down. So I think you started questioning your worth, probably at a very young age. And because the Temperance card comes here, and it's in reverse. Now the Temperance card comes in where it talks about, for me, and I'm going to try to figure out what this is saying in your inner world here. But the Temperance card speaks about middle ground, taking things slowly. Some readers will look at it as you need to take a break or wait, a waiting card. I don't think I've ever said waiting, but I have said like it's kind of like a middle ground for you. And I'm going to say that because it's in reverse, there was no middle ground for you. It was just this unworthiness, like it was almost like a black and a white, right? It was like not even wavering. It was, no, I'm not worthy. There was no middle ground here for you. Page of Pentacles comes up, and a page is, like I said, you have your Page of Cups here. You have another inner child. Page of Pentacles talks about, the pentacle is the body. And the pentacle has everything to do with our self-worth and our workplace and our material world, but our self-worth. Again, in reverse here. And so 2 cards. You have 2 cards dealing with self-worth. Surrounding this Temperance card here is your top row. There is no middle ground for you. Your self-worth was just, you just were somebody that felt unworthy, very much ignored, very much you did not matter to people around you, and that's how you felt. If you felt that way, it was probably how you were treated when you were younger. The Star card comes out here, and it tells me that the Star is about healing. It's a card that comes out after the Tower card, which is that, big, huge, significant bat from the universe, if you want, situation that comes in our life, or can have a few of them actually in our life. But this is the healing card. This talks about there's healing that needs to be done here. And it's in reverse here because I'm not sure, there's probably a resistance to going in on your part, but there's definitely a healing to be done here. This unworthiness right here that is just, it's screaming at me. It's coming from both sides. It needs to heal. And what needs to heal? What needs to heal for you? Right behind it comes your lineage card, your 10 of Cups. There is, something that you need to heal that was handed down from generation to generation. Now, there are some people, I'm going to go off on this limb, but there are some people that believe that we're here to heal our lineage. To a certain extent, yes. I had that question from my own therapist because I fought with that one as well. But she did say to me, and I do, trust and a lot of what she says, my own trauma coach. And she did say that she believes firmly, because she is somebody that has done a heck of a lot with complex PTSD like myself, that has done a lot of healing. And she did say that she believes that we are here first and foremost to heal ourselves first, right? And I know, because some people will say, well, I'm doing this for my lineage, to heal my line, my bloodline. I think our first priority always has to be, and our first focus has to be healing ourselves first. But this card for me says that there is something in your lineage where this unworthiness has come out before, and now, you know, it's time for you to heal it in you. And the Six of Cups comes right after it. And the Six of Cups is an exchange of cups card. And it is a card of exchanging, listening to your inner child. So this is the third inner child card that you got coming up in your reading. And here's the Seven of Wands that comes up for you. This is probably one of my favorite cards in the deck, because it reminds me a lot about me. This is me up here, and it's you up here. It's a card of, you know, not being supported, not feeling validated. And because it's coming out in your inner world here, it's telling me that when you were younger, you did not feel supported. You did not feel validated. You felt very much alone. Very much alone. And the Page of Cups has come up here next. And the Page of Cups is the other inner child. I talked about we already talked about that. So I have not talked about the Page of Cups yet because this is the first time it's come out. I need to remind myself. It was in the last reading. Oh, sorry. It came out here. Here it is right here. So here's this inner child. Here's your Page of Cups. We talked about that coming up right here. That's showing up for you. So, I don't know, maybe I didn't see it or did. Oh, I did. I told you about it at the beginning. Sorry. I get mixed up with these all the readings I've been doing. So here's your Page of Cups that's sitting here. Not feeling validated, not feeling supported. And it's coming up for you in your first row right now, in your outer world right here. You are feeling it. They are calling. So I'm going to say there's something going on, like I said, in your outer world that's really, this Page of Cups is probably wreaking havoc in a lot of your relationships right now. But it will continue to do that. It will continue to do that until you go inwards, until you ground yourself, because there was some grounded needing here with the Two of, I told you were ungrounded here with, yes, the Two of Coins over here. There is some grounding that needs to be done so that you can get in touch, you can get back in your body and start to feel the pain that your Page of Cups feels, because they felt very invalidated, very unsupported, and very much unworthy when they were growing up. And that's the pain they feel. And so there is a lot of shame here, and there's a heck of a lot of grief. There's some grieving that needs to be done with this little inner child of yours, this Page of Cups, that will continue to wreak havoc in your life until you start to heal it. And it can be a long road to heal your little love seeker. The Ten of Pentacles comes in, and here's the lineage card that we talked about. This one's a fascinating one. I like the look of it here, where you can see how the roots are growing into each other's hands. And you know, we that stuff, our trauma is passed down through lineage, right? And so, you know, I think there's some healing that needs to be done around trauma here that you've experienced when you were younger. If you were not validated, if you were not supported, if you felt unworthy, this is all trauma here that's sitting in your inner world, in your unconscious, in your shadow, that needs to be healed. So, and you know, when you're trying to find, and this is why I think your true self, it's so hidden here, so hidden from you, because there's just too much trauma here. And like, I don't know if I said it earlier, but how we have those layers of trauma, and underneath it, I think I did, where you have your authentic self. But in order to get to the real you got to start peeling away at everything to get to who you really are. And so what is the message of the universe here? What's the message? Well, you get the message from the tarot. You get the Five of Cups. And the Five of Cups is a card about, you know, really focusing on those lost cups. And so maybe you're somebody that's really been sitting in some depression, hopelessness. And I can see that you might be because of all of this unhealed trauma that's sitting right here in your inner world. And, you know, if you're wanting to, you know, make a decision, if you're wanting to take your life in a new direction, you're questioning your authenticity, you're questioning who you are, and you're living by, you know, the Hierophant, you're living by what somebody else has told you about yourself, you know, you can really get yourself into this state right here where you've given up. You've completely given up. Well, let me tell you about another time in your life when you completely gave up, and that's when you were a young child, when you felt all of this unworthiness and no one supporting you and no one validating you. And so what's happening here is whatever you're feeling right now, focusing on those 3 spilt cups, feeling like you see no way out of this, feeling like you want to give up. This is a mirror. It's like you're in a flashback here of your childhood. And what you need to do is to get back into your body and start to heal this stuff before your outer world can start to change, can start to move in a different direction. The message from the universe says, well, let's bring the truth to all of this. Let's bring this to justice here. Let's find out this sword here. Let's find out who you really are. Let's find out, let's cut through all this bullshit. This is the bullshit that you learned when you were younger. This is not the real you. This is what you learned. And you still think that, you know, this is you, but it's not. The universe wants you to start to get into this. Last card is the Lover's card. It's the Lover's card, a relationship. It looks like that beautiful relationship between two, but it's the joining of your masculine and your feminine. It's making you whole again, because right now it's not whole. It wants you to get whole again, find out who you are. And so how are you going to start, Pisces? How are you going to start to heal this? What do you need to do? Well, here's the 6 of Wands. And the 6 of Wands, the number 6 is a duality card. And on one side, this card looks like it's winning. It looks like it's coming back from victory. You know, won some war, got victory wreath going on his head and on top of that wand. But the real thing that we're not seeing, it's hidden, it's under that green blanket. It's under that green blanket. It's the loss. It's the loss. You've got the winning and then the losing. The universe says, well, you have to start healing your grief. And the grief, you have to start grieving. And that's the Page of Cups. Grief right here. That's that love seeker I talked about here. You have your love seeker, like I said, is coming out 2 times in your reading, in your outer world and your inner world. Why? Because if you have a love seeker that needs some healing here in your inner world, you want to believe, you want to bet that it's going to keep wreaking havoc on your adult life over and over and over and over again until you start to heal it. I know from experience. I know. So, grief, 3 of Wands. Universe wants to take you in a different direction, and you will go there. This card right here, this grief that you need to get at, your love seeker's grief that you need to get at, that grief will prevent you and stop you from going into where you need to go, because it's that strong. But once you deal with that grief, you turn that around, you're going to be going in a new direction here. There's a boat coming in for you. It's right there. And you have this Devil card, and the Devil card is in reverse here, and it's this card of attachments and feeling like, you know, you get attached to these things, and oftentimes I say it's our addictions, right? We use our addictions to numb our pain. That's exactly what they're for. We all have addictions. I have addictions. I've had to work on my addictions, but mostly I had to work on what was the pain underneath them. Right? And the addictions kind of fall to the wayside when you start to work on your pain, because you don't need the addictions anymore. And so the universe is saying, well, maybe it's time for you to start looking at becoming aware of how you are using something to cover up your pain. How you are using something to cover up your pain. This is your reading, Pisces. Fascinating reading for you. I thought about giving you a video on grief, and then this addiction card came up as well. I think I'm torn between which one I want to give you. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you a video. It might be a playlist. I know the addiction playlist is a couple videos. I'll give you a video on grief as well. So that's 2. And then if you're interested in more shadow work, that will be in the description box below, okay? Because I really feel like I need to give you grief and addictions and then the shadow work one as well, okay? So I'll talk to you, Pisces, middle of the month. Take care.